Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News, and we have a episode of Nintendo Historia. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, but it's good to do an episode or two for this month to get into it. So we've been going through the timeline of Nintendo during the 30s and 40s and 50s, but this episode is quite different in terms of this is when I think Nintendo really started to become more of a worldwide known company, and it was in 1959 when they started to go across the world and go to America. Now, basically, let's put on my reading glasses first. Now, Yamahashi obviously went to the USA in 1956 with the United States Playing Card Company. And what he found was surprising was the world's biggest company in playing cards, which was bigger than Nintendo, was basically using a small office. And I think he knew that there were limitations to the playing card business, and that Nintendo couldn't just stay as this small little company forever. That playing cards may one day not be successful or bought as a major product in years to come. But here comes the exciting part later on. In 1959, Nintendo went off and struck a deal with Disney to have them allow Nintendo to use Disney characters on Nintendo playing cards, which was very, very interesting. Now, Western playing cards was used as a form of gambling, as the same thing in Japan. And it was really, really cool to see Nintendo and Disney working so early on, 1959, over 50 years ago now. So they do have a very long history and a very interesting history together, the two companies, which is very, very cool. And I think that there's a lot of inspirations behind Nintendo and Disney. Other things that they did apart from playing cards over the years into the 1960s was things like board games and stuff like that. We'll actually put some links down below to a very great website called Before Mario. .com has a lot of great things that this person has collections of. He has a lot of collections of Nintendo stuff before the video game age era, especially from 40s, 50s, and 60s and 70s in terms of toys and things like that. And what I think was important about this partnership with Disney was that Nintendo wanted to branch out and do different products and things like that. And that led on to things such as toys, board games, the infamous Love Hotels and Taxis, which we'll get to in the next episode or two. But I think, you look at characters such as Princess Peach and Rosalina and Daisy, they're all very much like Disney princesses. And I think Nintendo has tried to model themselves a bit off Disney in terms of family-friendly characters and that sort of appeal. So, and obviously Disney is very popular in Japan, and I think that is what was a really, really big thing for Nintendo. Those playing cards sold 600,000 cards in the first year. And that actually led Nintendo to take Nintendo public in the Osaka Stock Exchange. So they went public as a company, and people could become investors in the company. So it really did expand them, which was great. And then in 1963, Nintendo changed their name from Nintendo Playing Card to just Nintendo. So that was a really, really interesting thing too, in terms of those sort of things. So it was very, very interesting time and period them working with Disney and that. And I think Yamahachi saw that there was so much more than just playing cards, and I think that was a very important thing to understand. However, during this time and period of the late 50s, Nintendo was riddled with debt, had a lot of issues and problems, and the Japanese toy industry was not particularly great. It was small, and had much bigger companies such as Bandai and Tommy. Those sort of which was always a very difficult sort of period for them, trying to come up with products, because there's always new products coming in and things like that. But that does lead to the next chapter in terms of them doing toys and things like that. And we'll introduce to you a very, very important figure in Nintendo's history in terms of that. But it's great to see and interesting to see how Nintendo have worked with companies in decades before. And but some of those playing cards would be worth quite a lot because due to its history, who the two companies are, and the age of them. 1959, that would be 41, 47, 57 years old, some of those playing cards would be. So, very, very old, and it would be a very nice collector's item. But in a nutshell, Nintendo goes global, starts making Disney playing cards, and starts to get some inspirations for characters and the way they wanted to mold themselves and shape themselves, and they wanted a bigger slice of the pie in different business markets and that. And this was the beginning of Nintendo starting to branch out from just playing cards, which had pretty much dominated the first 60 to 70 years of their history. So, very, very interesting history. Alright, there's your history lesson for Nintendo Historia. That's it from me. I'll see you next time.